Have you ever wondered what would happen if every asteroid in space slammed into Earth at the exact same moment? It sounds impossible, but the answer is far more terrifying than any disaster movie ever made. In just a few seconds, our planet could be transformed forever. Look up at the night sky and everything seems calm. But hidden across our solar system are millions of asteroids, from tiny rocks no bigger than a car to massive objects hundreds of miles wide. Most of them quietly orbit the sun and never come close to Earth. But imagine that somehow, every single one suddenly changed course and struck our planet at the same time. The first thing you would notice would not be the impacts. It would be the light. The sky would explode with countless blazing fireballs arriving from every direction at unimaginable speeds. Within moments, the atmosphere would heat up as billions of objects ripped through it, creating a global wall of fire stretching from horizon to horizon. Then the impacts would begin. Cities, forests, deserts, mountains, and oceans would all be hit at once. There would be no safe place anywhere on Earth. Every continent would experience millions of explosions happening simultaneously, releasing more energy than all the nuclear weapons ever built combined. The ground would shake violently as shockwaves raced across the planet. Buildings would collapse instantly, roads would split apart, and entire coastlines would disappear beneath giant tsunamis created by asteroid impacts in the oceans. The sound would be beyond anything humans have ever heard, a roar so powerful it would circle the world. But the destruction would not stop at the surface. Massive impacts would blast huge amounts of rock and dust high into the atmosphere. The sky would quickly turn dark as sunlight became blocked around the globe. Day would suddenly look like night and temperatures would begin to fall. And this is only the beginning. The first few minutes would be catastrophic, but what happens next could make the initial impact seem small by comparison. Earth itself would start fighting for survival, and everything that depends on it would face the greatest challenge in the history of life. As billions of tons of rock crashed into Earth, the planet would release an unimaginable amount of energy. Some of the largest asteroids would carve craters hundreds of miles wide, instantly vaporizing everything near the impact zones. Entire mountain ranges could disappear in seconds, while oceans would boil where the biggest objects struck. The atmosphere would become filled with superheated gases, ash, and molten rock. Fragments blasted back into space would soon fall again like a worldwide rain of fire, igniting forests and cities across the globe. Even places untouched by direct impacts would be surrounded by unstoppable wildfires. At the same time, giant earthquakes would ripple through Earth's crust. Fault lines that had remained quiet for thousands of years could suddenly break apart. Volcanoes around the world might erupt. Together as pressure deep beneath the surface changed dramatically. Lava and ash would pour into the sky, adding even more darkness to an already devastated planet. The oceans would become just as deadly.
Massive asteroid impacts would create tsunamis thousands of feet high,
Racing across every coastline at incredible speeds. Entire islands could vanish beneath the waves, while coastal cities would be swept away without warning. The force of the water alone would reshape continents forever. Within hours, thick clouds of dust and smoke would block most sunlight from reaching the surface. Plants would no longer receive enough light for photosynthesis, causing the food chain to begin collapsing. Temperatures would continue falling as Earth entered a deep global darkness unlike anything seen in human history. Communication systems, satellites, power grids, and transportation networks would fail almost immediately. Air travel would stop, roads would be destroyed, and supplies would disappear within days. Even people who survived the first impacts would face a world with almost no food, clean water, or electricity. Scientists believe that even a single large asteroid can change Earth's climate for years. But if every asteroid struck at once, the consequences would be beyond any disaster our civilization has ever imagined. The planet would become almost unrecognizable, and survival would depend on overcoming challenges that no human society has ever faced before. And yet the worst may still be coming, because the damage would not end after the explosions. The months and years that follow could determine whether life on Earth has any future at all. Days after the impacts, Earth would no longer resemble the planet we know today. Thick clouds of dust, ash, and smoke would cover the sky, blocking nearly all sunlight. Temperatures around the world would drop rapidly as the planet entered an extreme impact winter. Even places that survived the explosions would become cold, dark, and nearly impossible to live in. Without sunlight, plants would stop growing. Crops would fail across every continent, and forests would slowly die. The animals that depend on those plants would begin disappearing, followed by the predators that hunt them. One by one, entire ecosystems would collapse, creating the largest extinction event in Earth's history. The oceans would suffer as well. With little sunlight reaching the surface, microscopic organisms that produce much of Earth's oxygen would begin dying off. Marine food chains would break apart, affecting everything from tiny fish to giant whales. The seas that once supported life would become silent and lifeless. For the few humans who somehow survived underground shelters or isolated locations, every day would become a struggle. Food supplies would run out, clean water would become scarce, and the air itself could become polluted with ash and toxic gases. Modern technology would offer little help in a world where power grids, factories, and transportation systems had completely collapsed. As months turned into years, Earth would slowly begin to recover, but the process would take an incredibly long time. Dust would eventually settle and sunlight would return, but the planet would never be exactly the same. Landscapes would be permanently changed by enormous craters, new coastlines, and destroyed ecosystems that took millions of years to develop. Scientists believe that a single asteroid helped wipe out the dinosaurs about 66 million years ago. Now imagine not one asteroid, but every asteroid striking Earth at once. The scale of destruction would be almost impossible to comprehend, pushing our planet far beyond any natural disaster humanity has ever experienced. But could Earth itself actually survive such an unimaginable assault? Or would our entire planet be shattered into pieces, disappearing forever into space? The answer is even more surprising than you might expect. The surprising truth is that even if every asteroid in the solar system somehow struck Earth at the same time, our planet would probably not be completely destroyed. Earth is incredibly massive, and breaking it apart would require far more energy than all known asteroids could produce together. The planet would survive, but the surface would become almost unrecognizable. Gigantic craters would scar every continent. Oceans would be reshaped, and entire mountain ranges could collapse under the force of the impacts. The atmosphere would remain filled with dust and ash for years, making life on the surface almost impossible. Any civilization that existed before the event would be gone, leaving behind only ruins buried beneath layers of rock and debris. Over thousands and even millions of years, nature would slowly begin rebuilding itself. Rain would wash away ash, new plants would spread across the damaged land, and surviving species would evolve to fit the changed environment. Earth has recovered from catastrophic events before, but this would be one of the greatest challenges in its entire 4.5 billion year history. The most important lesson is that space is far more dangerous than it appears. Every day, thousands of small rocks enter Earth's atmosphere, but almost all of them burn up before reaching the ground. Scientists around the world constantly monitor larger asteroids that could pose a future threat, and so far, none are expected to collide with Earth in the foreseeable future. Thankfully, the scenario you've just imagined is virtually impossible. The asteroids in our solar system travel on different paths and at different speeds, making a simultaneous impact beyond anything known by modern science. Still, thinking about events like this reminds us how precious and fragile our planet really is. From space, Earth looks like a tiny blue world floating in endless darkness. Yet it is the only place we know that supports life. Protecting it and understanding the universe around us may be one of humanity's greatest responsibilities. So what do you think? If technology advanced enough to deflect dangerous asteroids, could humanity save the planet from a future cosmic disaster? Let us know your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this journey through one of the most extreme what-if scenarios imaginable, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for more incredible mysteries of science and space.